Hey y'all, greetings. It's Patrick Gregory again. Just want to talk to y'all just for a brief moment about some practicing things that I fell into. Um, and when I say fell into, what I mean is that I just want to let y'all know that I'm a turtle, and I know that that might come and sound like very strange, if you will, but I just I think that we all want to have made it yesterday. We want to be the best guitarists that we can. And while we should want to be, the best that we can, I think that we want to we want to race through it. I found some things in my technique, and as I'm forming my technique in a guitar, I found some things that I wasn't really satisfied with. And what I mean by that is, so for example, I noticed that when I play guitar, that I have this tendency to want to press down a fret, and then you see how I'm like, this is a press, and this is relax, press and relax. And what's happening is I press one fret down and move the other fingers out the way. And so I began to study more and more and more. And I'm going through my books, and I'm not trying to rush through the book. I'm not trying to rush through the pages. I'm trying to focus on how I'm playing as well as actually play the right notes and work on my sight reading. Because my goal is, and I've already been a very accomplished musician before on a different instrument. But what I want to do is, I don't want to simply play the instrument. You can play, you can endeavor to play as much as possible, but there's a lot of different things that I learned along my route while I was playing, and that was that it's very stressful to commit everything that you'll ever play to memory. You know what I mean? What I mean by that is, it's very lucrative to compose music, to write music, to not, just get by studying tablature or or studying fretboard diagrams, and learning songs based upon fretboard diagrams that pretty much repeat the same fretboard diagrams through the same song, through the whole song, and then the fretboard diagram changes for the bridge, and the fretboard diagram changes again for the verses. Now, while I do get and understand, I think that if you're a rhythm player, then that's really simple, and that's all you're pretty much playing is, or excuse me, are rhythms. I just, it's not only that I want to challenge myself while I'm studying music, is that as time progresses and I'm not, right here where I started and I'm down here, I want to have grown and, in the interim have learned some type of, not necessarily, well, okay, I'll say that, learn some technique. It's not about, how they say a lot of times, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. You know, that is so lucrative in terms of information and wisdom. I'm studying guitar, but I feel like I'm trying my best to study life. I need to make sure that I start cleaning my guitar, and taking the strings off, and cleaning the fretboard, and taking good care of it. I don't know if my voice dropped down, but I said I need to start taking some time and cleaning guitar, and you know taking the strings off and cleaning the fretboard, and learn not only how to play guitar, but how to care for the guitar, how to have a life. Because anyone, everybody was this one rap. It was this rap song called "Watch for the Hook," back in the day by this rap artist named Cool Breeze. And Cool Breeze uh, had a verse in the song that would say, everybody wants to live in a house, but they don't want no grass to grow. And what that, what that means. It's like you want to be grown and you want to be matriculated and advanced in your years, but you don't necessarily you don't want to care for anything. And that's, I want to live a good life on this guitar. I want to have fun. I want to speak the word of God to my friends and talk to them and lift them up and talk to the younger generations and show them by virtue of the way through music how you can live a great life and bring others up, inspire people, encourage others that are living around you that are your peers, but as well for people that aren't your peers, people that are older, but the main thing that I'm noticing right now as just simply playing and learning how to play. I'm not that far into my guitaring right now. I've learned for example, where the A major scale, which is which is cool. I've learned that my open E is right here. I've learned that my F is right there. I've learned that my G is right there. I've learned that my B is on the second string open. I've learned that my C is right there on the first fret of the B string. I've also learned that the C, my C, is on the third fret of that second string, which is known as the B string as well. I'd like to have more of a spread on my fingers right there. You see how those two are joining together as I play that C right there. There's a tendency to join and get closer to the finger, the fretting finger. There's a tendency to get there because what's happening psychologically, as I can tell that my fingers haven't necessarily built the strength that they need in each individual finger that they will develop by virtue of the way of the practice technique and study habit of using a metronome at a slow speed. Using a metronome at a slow speed will build the strength and endurance in each individual finger. And I'm saying this without having been there yet. But it will build the strength in each individual finger to where once you press down on an individual fret, you don't naturally try to bring other fingers close to that finger to try to add strength to that finger by virtue of the lack of strength that would be in that one finger. So while you have an opportunity to with transparency see and understand how much it is that I've learned so far as an actual player, by taking time in these individual phases, I believe and I feel that so far in my journey that I'm learning, there are things that I want to continue doing that I was doing, and there are some things that I don't want to continue doing that I was doing as well. For example, I'm 31 years old, and a lot of times at 31 or older, people will tell you, hey, you're just a baby. You know what I mean? You got your whole life ahead of you and everything like that. And why that's true, you still at times could have in the past allowed yourself to feel, think, or believe that I'm comparing myself to this other person on YouTube's videos playing jazz that, man, I gotta hurry up so I can get as good as they're getting, but that's neither here nor there. I'm finding immense true joy in, exactly who I am, when I am, who that is that I am, because I am, and that's the beauty of it. It says in the Bible that, God is a rewarder of those that diligently seek him. So with that known being a biblical truth, anything else that you diligently seek, you'll also be rewarded of. You won't be, honestly, like if you're in sinful nature and the more bad things you do, then bad things do continue to happen, you know, even more, whether you're aware of it or not aware of it. You know, your ignorance does not necessarily reward you away from the good consequences or bad consequences of your actions. But I'm just here to say that one thing that I think that I will continue to do, and I was pushed ahead further by one of my guitar mentors, brother. I'll just say his first name because I don't know if he wants to be like Googled and Facebook and looked up and everything. But brother Jerry, he told me, he said, man, just get a method book, get a Guitar One book, and start from the beginning. And the reason why he said that to me because I don't want to say I'm completely different from every other guitar player in the world, but because I've played other instruments and because I know how it feels to get by on an instrument. I know how it feels to get by on an instrument, and what that means is that you have an inherent desire and talent that you've got a style already about yourself. You already know what you like. So if you spend some time with it, you can get good at playing, period. But like I said earlier on in the video, it can be extremely stressful once everybody knows that you can play and that you do have style and that they can count on you and that you're a great person to be around because you let your personality shine and you're loving and nice and kind. It can be very stressful to have to play so many tunes and so much music and it have to be all in your mind and all in your head. It's painful. And what I mean by saying that it's painful is that I believe that there's like the way that you have short-term memory. So if you have short-term memory, then, and everybody has short-term memory, but what I mean is that for the same reasons, by virtue of the fact that people make grocery lists or they make to-do lists or they make a planner. Could you imagine me asking you what you're doing on what are you doing on May 15th right now? In your head, what are you doing on May 15th? Now you got a job, you got children, you got kids, you got all these different things that do become a part and are a blessing of your schedule in your life, i.e. your calendar. But if I were to just ask you simply that date, it would be a little fuzzy, a little blurry, if you will. So there would be times where I was going to shows and I had to literally tell people, like, well, I wouldn't tell them this, but I'm a people person and I would like to, you know, walk around the mist and talk around in the crowd and have fun. And I remember being in college at Southern University in the marching band, and, you know, perhaps I wanted to reach back and say what's up to my brother Julian playing the instrument, or say what's up to my brother Chris down there playing tuba, or, you know, say what's up to Baby Knighton, you know. And a lot of times when you don't have and in that case, like we all had the music memorized and everything like that, so it wasn't quite the same scenario. But when you gotta isolate yourself from having fun and socialize and hanging out with the people, and that's what the music is for, is to serve the people and to, you know, give God glory, which God is love. So it's to bring love to everyone that you love and to also experience love. But if you've committed everything that you know to memory, and I'm not saying don't memorize things. I'm not saying that, you know, well, we'll get to what it is I'm not saying in the comment section. If anybody has a comment about anything I'm talking about, then I'd love to discuss about it. But my only point is that I believe it will bring me great, tremendous, true joy to be able to place a sheet of paper, folder, if you will, a manuscript written musical notation, and know that, hey, this song is called such and such and so and so, and when I go on stage, I'm gonna look at the paper that's gonna be on the stand, and I'm just gonna play a fantastic show, because it's a plan, you know. And I'm looking forward to being able to make musical notated plans of my performances, you know. I mean, because if you have it written out, it's even easier to memorize it because it's written down and it's notated, and now you're memorizing an actual format versus like trying to go off of something that you made up in your head. You memorized it and you got a whole show and a whole set to do. And to think of building a livelihood of memorizing and everything that you have. You know, of course you can record it, but even when you record it, you don't have a format to go back to play from. You know, and you can find videos here on YouTube where Jimi Hendrix will tell you, like, hey, I never would play a show the same way because, you know, I had to always be rehearsing or I, you know, forget it or something. And I don't want to do that. So when I think about it, it's like to sacrifice the sake of simply just being able to play as quick as possible. I'm going to take my time and go through the book and say, you know, this is an E, it's open. And sit here and I'm looking at Hal Leonard's book, E, open, F, you know, first fret right there is an F, third fret, first string, G, you know, second string, B, open, first string, first fret on the B string, C, third fret, B string, second string, third fret is a Lord have mercy. So we got B on the open, we got C on the first, and then we got D on the third. So you can tell I'm going real slow. I'm going slow with it, and you know, there's a couple of different things that I could see really helping with aiding in the direction of your goals. Number one, you gotta have those goals. I know everybody says it all the time, and when I was young, I never really valued what they meant by goals, but now I get it because your goals, they give you a different roadmap, a GPS, if you will, a turn by turn sequential direction for what it is you go for, because which direction you go, because you know where you're going, you know what it is you want to be proficient at doing or performing. And so for me, I understand that one thing that just you saw that in the video just now, that once it got to be, I was thinking about not only which direction I was going, but I was also thinking about chromatically which direction I'm going. You know, I had to think in my head, like, this is the B string, so with a guitar, I'm shortening the string. So anytime I go this direction, I'm getting sharper. Going from here to here, getting sharper. But from here to here, I'm getting flatter. You know, and I like that challenge. I like the fact that there is a different starting point for every one of these strings, and it sharpens and gets shorter, and the sound is getting higher as it goes from here and here. While a keyboard is, everything is linear in this one direction. I really love the fact that with this guitar, there's a different starting point right here from by which you're shortening. So you're literally looking at 6 different chromatic scales. That's literally what a guitar is, 6 different chromatic scales. And so I tend to like to spend a lot of time writing music notation, because one of my focal points, or one of the places that I want to be proficient, is in the area of composing. I want to be good at composing. So in order to be good at composing, one must compose. One must write musical notation on a staff. And because I value doing that with a pen, I like to do it with paper. So with that being stated and that being said, I want to make sure that I'm writing the musical notation in, as well as tightening my reading, my sight reading. So I go through the beginner book. I'm really enjoying it. I'm going really slow because I'm noticing some technical issues, and I want to define technical issues for you. Technical issues are any physical or mental capabilities that hinder or improve the way that you arrive at your goal. And so what I would say is that one of the technical issues that I've been noticing is the spread on my fingers. I've been noticing the spread on my fingers is a technical issue, because you want to be able to play and have a good spread, but at times there might be places where you need to be really close in in your chord that you might be playing, just because I've seen it. So I noticed that I don't have really a hard issue getting my hands close together, but I've noticed that by virtue of finger strength, that I want to work on this spread and keeping the arc of the fingers like such over the strings, because in the event that when I gain the physical capability and the mental capacity of interpretation from the composed musical notation, I want to be able to get to that next note as quick as possible, and I don't see it from here, and with a true conviction that there will be no way to get quickly to the next note if my fingers are so far away from the strings. For example, if I were playing this F note right here on the first string, you see how these fingers are flying? Imagine if I had then next play something over here. I had to, get from this E string to something right here, but I'm flying, and perhaps there were 16th notes or 8th notes, if you will. So I've slowed down my metronome tremendously, almost to about half the speed. I started out at about 79 beats per minute yesterday's rehearsal, and I've slowed down all the way to, let me turn my metronome on. It's like 40 something, if I'm not mistaken. It's not turning on right now. 38 actually. I slowed my metronome down to 38 beats per minute, so that when I see in Hal Leonard's book that he's got me playing an E note, and then he's got me playing an F note, and that brings up another matter. I'm making sure that, because by virtue of the fact that I'm working on my positioning of my fingers and making sure my fingers are constantly in an arc fashion over the strings, I'm making sure that not only are the fingers arced over the strings, I'm trying to keep a spread, but at the same time, while I'm trying to keep a spread, once I slow down the BPMs to so much of a particular tempo, it gives me a chance to adjust my fingers in order to get to that next note. But by virtue of the fact that I'm adjusting my fingers to get to that next note, I need to make sure, and I am making sure, that I don't accidentally touch another string. So if you rewind back a couple of seconds, you'll notice that once I went from that E to that F note, I got ready to move my fingers over, and I adjusted my finger. Therefore, I ended up deadening the sound and stopping the full vibration or ring of the note. And so I think it's very precious and important that if you're playing a half note, that you play it for a full two beats leading up to whatever's happening on the third beat, the release. It's 1, 2, and then the third. Not 1, 2, stop. You gotta ring. You gotta carry throughout. And I think what's really precious and special about it is the fact that I'm attempting to play a very beautiful genre of music like jazz. And my goal actually is not to play as fast as possible. My goal is to play as pretty and as intentional and as influential and as encouraging as humanly possible. By Jesus' stripes, God give me the power to do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I'm looking forward to this, and I just want to tell y'all thank you for sitting with me for a minute. But I'm just on page 1 in Hal Leonard's book. I'm going at it with great technique, keeping those fingers arced over the strings and no flying fingers. And I want to play those notes with full resonation, reading and composition. Love y'all. Thanks for chilling with me for a minute. I know it was longer than a minute, but God gave me some great things to say to y'all today, and I want to make sure I say it to you because I want people to know that they can take their time. You don't have to race. You don't have to try to be like the Joneses. That's something that my lady and I practice with our finances. We live below our means. We don't try to spend like everybody else spending, and that's how we get opportunity to live like nobody else is living. I love y'all. Take care and take your time. From the turtle. Peace.